Jay, we're good. Don't worry about it.
All right, you knock that shit out, and I'll do the moderator.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
I wish y'all could see Jay dancing in the bottom, man.
Huh?
I wish y'all could see Jay dancing in the bottom when you do that intro. He does it every time.
Hey, listen, man, I get into it, man. It gets me pumped. It gets me psyched. Listen, it has been a while since I have moderated and hosted it. It just feels so good to be back in my comfortable skin. Good time to be alive, man. Let me introduce everybody real quick. Up on top, we got Logan Babyface Landers. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Jay, I'm doing great on this terrific Thursday. Jay, I feel like once you left, the state of Georgia just got sad because, brother, it has been raining all week nonstop here. So that has been fun to deal with. But no, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Hey, I can't complain. You're getting all the rain, and I got all the damn heat. It's been 110, 105. I said, you know what? I'm going to go jump in the pool. I jumped in the pool. It was like 98. I was like, damn, I can't go nowhere. So it is what it is, man. But, and I want to give him his proper respects. There's a guy on the panel who's 11-0 on a streak, possibly making it 12. Gonna have to go against Babyface Logan if he wants to get it. It's none other than your boy from Gonzo Sports Room, Chris. I cannot be defeated, Gonzalez. What's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on, guys? No, it's kind of been I'm not gonna say a sad day, but a slow day because the Reds didn't play today. Having that day off is nothing to watch.
Hey, to be fair though, Chris, the Braves got rained out last night, so we both had a day off here recently.
Yeah. But,
hey, it gives both of you guys one more day to soak in the bath of a winning streak.
And that's just me being selfish because I wanted to watch the Reds play again today. You don't have nothing to watch. But other than that, it's been good. Like you said, we're 11-0. 11-game winning streak, but game and a half ahead of our division now. So we've really turned our season around. We just got, I said, we just got to keep playing baseball and hope we stay healthy.
And best of luck to all of our teams. We all want to show all of our teams in the playoffs. That's what we want, Jay. We want all of our teams.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think we will. Honestly, I think all of our teams are going to get into the playoffs. Yeah. And then it's going to be a matter of, best man, for himself at that point. But just to be at that point is going to be amazing. Speaking of amazing, Logan, when people want to catch our show, could you just, there you go, baby. Jay, catch us on Facebook at Unscripted. Get us on Twitter at Unscripted Guys. And then catch us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. All of them at Unscripted Sports. If you want to catch our content and hang out and enjoy the good times with us, those are all the places that you can catch us and vibe with us, man.
But one more thing here, Jay, before we get going. Like I mentioned to y'all, we do have a link tree now. So you can check the description of any of our socials for any of our videos from here on forward. And you can just click on that link tree, and it's a one-stop shop. You'll be able to click on all of the social medias you see here. Just tap on it, and you will go directly to it. Nice, handy feature, and it's in the for all of our videos as of tonight. So fun little feature.
So what he's saying is if you're one of the social media challenged people like myself, it just makes it so much easier for you. It really does. It really does. And hey, make sure you like and subscribe to our content, as well as anything that Gonzo Sports Room puts out. Make sure you're liking and subscribing the information that he's putting out. A lot of it is just amazing content. I promise you won't be disappointed. But wow, draft time, baby! It is draft.
It's here. Yeah. It's here. It don't feel like it, but it's here.
Drafted. And Chris, I misquoted one of the you do have 4 picks in this draft. It wasn't the 20th pick you had. I apologize. Actually, the Rockets have the 20th pick. It's a 26th pick that you have. But you do have 4 picks.
Yeah, and we traded another pick to the Lakers.
Oh, so now you got 3 picks. What pick did you give to the Lakers?
I think it was the 40th pick or something like that for
another pick. You wound up giving them your 40th pick. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mind telling us what you got out of it? Because I didn't catch that trade.
I got another pick, which I think was I can't remember what number, and then some cash.
Okay.
Well, either way, you still got the 7th, the 26th, and then I think you got the 55th pick, 50 or 55, somewhere around that neighborhood. So you still got one more pick than us, damn it. So I don't care.
Honestly, the only really pick I'm worried about is the 7th.
Yeah, well, and you're right. I mean, the only pick I'm worried about is the 4th, and I still don't have a clue as to who we're going to get at the 4th. But we do, or I should say, we have done 1 through 5. As you can see on the slide there, we have done 1 through 5 predictions in this draft coming up in 1 hour. Logan, real quick, what channel is the draft going to be on for anybody who doesn't know?
Jay, I believe that is going to be on ESPN per usual. Of course, that's going to have all of the experts on there, the Wojs, the Shams. Check them out on Twitter, too. They're probably going to be tweeting the picks out 2 minutes before they actually happen on TV.
They always do it. I'm telling you.
I mean, honestly, though, in recent years, though, with just how long and tedious the draft takes, I mean, it's just so much faster, I think, on Twitter. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be on ESPN, I'm pretty sure.
But about 53 minutes, catch ESPN for that draft.
Pre-show starts at 7:30 on ESPN, and then the actual draft starts at 8. But right now they're doing like Sports Center from the draft, so they're talking draft stuff right now on ESPN as well. But yeah, the draft pre-show is supposed to start at 7:30 on ESPN.
Well, we're starting our draft pre-show at 7:09.
Oh,
we're starting even earlier than ESPN. That's how we do it here.
Hey, that's how we roll. Speaking of which, let's kick this bad boy off. I don't think anybody here, and Logan, I'm pretty sure, if anybody else has other Victor Wembanyama, if you don't have him at number 1, then I will be shocked to find out who you do put at number 1. But obviously for me, yeah, it is, and for me, it's definitely Victor. Yeah. He's a 19-year-old guy. As you know, he was second in the France league over there playing basketball. He was second in scoring, first in rebounds, and first in shot blocking. I think teams are going to expect him to be a rim protector, and they're going to expect him to be the number 1 option when it comes to scoring. So for me, Logan, I do think he goes number 1. Yeah. But and me and Chris have said this a million times, we expect him to put on some muscle. And I think if he does not put on muscle, then I honestly don't know how you can expect him to be a rim protector or your number 1 scoring option. Because, again, I understand what everybody's saying. He has about a 7'7" wingspan, and he probably can still get to some things. But if you got a guy like Joker down low going in for something, how's he going to block that if he don't put on some muscle? So, again, for me, I just would like to see him put on a little bit of muscle, and I do expect big things out of Victor.
Yeah,
but that's me. Logan?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Obviously, I've got Victor going number 1. Like I said, the only player I can compare him to, obviously people say Giannis, but Giannis is a different position, obviously. I mean, honestly, the one I can think of is Chet Holmgren, which we haven't seen much of. Because remember when Holmgren got drafted last year by the Thunder? I mean, he was super skinny. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him play at all last year due to that injury he suffered in the preseason or the summer league, wherever he was at. But, I mean, we'll see what he can do, man. But, this dude is just a freak of nature. The photos and videos of him at the Yankees game the other night throwing out the first pitch, Jay, he could palm the baseball and cover it almost. He's a physical specimen. If basketball does not work out, Chris, I know we will welcome him with open arms in pro wrestling. who do great things there. But yeah, no, he's going to San Antonio, no doubt about it.
Gonzo, I would be surprised if you have anything different other than Vic at 1. Excuse me.
No, I have Wembanyama as well. Man, the dude's an athletic freak. I mean, he's 7'5" and can shake, can dribble, can play defense on the perimeter. I mean, he can guard a guard. It's unbelievable what the stuff, the talent he has. I do think he needs to bulk up a little bit, but we've seen other players come in the league with a slight build and be able to change their bodies.
Yep.
Giannis, for example, and
Durant.
Even, I was going to say Kevin Durant. Look at Durant. I mean, that was one of the big things about him coming out in the draft was his body, his thin frame going to hold up, and was he going to be able to be physical enough? And he's been able to figure it out. So I think Wembanyama will figure it out. It might take a year or two to kind of transform his body a little bit, but I think he's going to be a big star. And like I said, he's like a freaking alien. I mean,
I call him a praying mantis. To me, he looks like a praying mantis. But anyway, if you want to call him an alien, call him an alien. I got him as a praying mantis.
And Jay, like I dubbed to y'all on Tuesday night after the show, my official nickname for him, I got him as the Slender Man, Victor Wembanyama.
Oh yeah, you want to put him as Slender Man or Hollow Man, any of that kind of stuff. I think any one of those names will suffice.
Yes, sir.
Let's move in. Hey, now here's where it gets tricky. I think for a lot of people, it's 2 through 5. Now 2 through 5, you could put probably interchangeable names, and nobody's going to be mad at you for it. For me, I kind of take a page out of Jeremy Green's book. I was really kind of thinking about it. The more I hear about it, I think Brandon Miller probably will go number 2. To the Hornets. I think he's a good fit there. I think he's a great scorer. He's a good shot maker. He can pass the ball. He can do all the things that I think they need him to do. He'll pair up nicely with LaMelo Ball and company. So for that number 2 reason, I got him going Brandon Miller at the small forward position. Logan?
Oh man, this is where it gets tough for me. I've went back and forth on these 2 guys here, but I think for Charlotte at the number 2 slot, who they're pick number 2, I think they'll go with Brandon Miller as a forward. Obviously, I think the next player that we're going to talk about, I think he's a good player, but they do have LaMelo Ball, who is an explosive player. They got to have someone paired with him, whether it's like I said, get him with a forward. They got to do something, man. They got to sign some free agents. I know it's going to be tough. Yeah, for Charlotte, they need some help. They really do. They've needed some help. And especially with Jordan selling his majority stake of the team, I mean, Charlotte has, you can say, a buzz about them now. No pun intended. But I'm going to go with Brandon Miller. I know he's had, a rough go at it here his last couple months in college with everything going on off the court. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of guys in a bunch of different leagues who maybe have trouble in college, but they come to the league and basically get a clean slate, wipe their nose of all that. And hopefully that's what we get with Brandon Miller. So I got him going number 2 out of Alabama to the Charlotte Hornets. Chris, who do you have?
Oh, man, this has been a tough one because
appreciate it, JNS.
As of last night, it looked like Miller was going to be the number 2 pick. If you looked like the betting odds, and then just from things you were hearing, and then this morning it came out that it was going to be Scoot Henderson was going to be the number 2 pick. And the betting odds, I mean, Henderson became a big favorite. Now Miller's back to being a big favorite to be the number 2 pick again by the betting odds. So you keep hearing back and forth, but I think it's going to be Miller. I think Miller fits in a little bit better because at this point, I'm not saying that Henderson's not going to keep developing as a shooter, but right now Miller, I think, is a little bit better of a shooter. Even though I think Henderson's probably more NBA ready because he's played in the G League against NBA type players and then more like an NBA system where Miller was in college.
Right.
But and with them having Melo Ball, I think Miller fits a little better. So I think it's going to be Miller at number 2.
All right. Hey, and let's go to John Suck's comment here, Jay.
Yeah, it's interesting. He says Victor, Miller, Scoot, Henderson, Thompson. I am kind of curious, John, which Thompson you're talking about because they are twin brothers.
Thompson
let me know which Thompson you actually think.
If I'm drafting one, I'm drafting both because Jeremy Green told me they're only a half a player, so I need both of them.
How does that work? Do you got like do you have we have 5 positions, but do you have 1, 2, 3, 3A, 4, and 5? I mean, how you working that?
And also to John Murray's good point, and also it's kind of echoing what I said. The reason that I think both he and I don't have Charlotte going after Scoot Henderson is because they already have LaMelo Ball. And yeah, I think Jay, I think this kind of segues. Also, he said Amin Thompson. That's who he's going with.
Okay.
So that Thompson brother. So Jay, I think this segues us into pick number 3 with the Portland Trailblazers. Go ahead and give us your intake.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, could you imagine having the word amen? Because every time he goes to church and they say amen, he's probably saying yes.
Yes, me. Yeah,
I'm just saying it's got to be awfully tricky when you go to church. That's all I'm saying. But no, Trailblazers. I don't think that. I think the Trailblazers do one of 2 things. I think either they trade out of that spot and go down, which we've heard about them talking about possibly doing that as an option, or I think they go after Scoot Henderson, the point guard out of the Ignite, and he's 19 years old, super young. So again, I think, and I've also heard reports where they said they could take Scoot Henderson at 3 and then deal him later on down the road and trade him to whoever for either more draft compensation or free agents. So even if Portland does draft him, don't be surprised if they move off of him and go after somebody else. I would not be surprised at that at all. But this guy, look, he takes the pressure off Lillard, right? If you bring in Scoot Henderson, I really think that's going to take a lot of the pressure off Damian Dollar, and I think that's going to be an awesome thing over there. So, and he has a great way of facilitating the ball. So we'll see what happens, but I do think that the Blazers draft Scoot Henderson, and where he goes after the draft, that's anybody's guess.
Yeah, let's see here. John's got Portland trading out. John, go into specific. Who do you have Portland trading with? We want to know your full take on that one. Also, our boy Mike Hughes coming in saying Jay doesn't let me come on Unscripted.
That's not true.
That's not true, Mike.
Hey, listen. You know what, Mike? From now on, I'm gonna throw the mic down your. I'm gonna throw the link down your way. And if you want to come on, by God, I would love to have you on. You got to open invite. So I don't know what Mike's talking about.
You just gotta give us a heads up beforehand. That way we can all prep for you and brace ourselves. Get a censor button.
Hey, we do got to get a censor button for Mike.
We got to get one for Mike. But back to the draft here, Jay. I'm with you. I think they go Scoot Henderson out of the Ignite out of the G League. Looking at his stats, played 19 games in total this past season. Like I said, he shoots the ball a lot, 14 shots attempts per game. Shoots it as a decent clip, 42.9, so basically 43. Average 3-point shooting, a little bit down. He only takes a little less than 3 a game, but he only hits at a 27.5% clip. One thing that is kind of a little worrisome, at least, like I said, in just a handful of games, he averages 3.4 turnovers per ball game. So, got to get that down a little bit. Like I said, I know it's a very small sample size. Like I said, obviously, he's a tremendous talent. I'm not knocking for that. But, like I said, just some things you can improve on. You can always improve. But, yeah, I've got the Trailblazers going after him, whether they pair him with Damian Lillard, whether he's the successor for Damian Lillard, we'll see. But I think he'll be a good fit in Portland, where, Portland, honestly, on paper, they have a decent roster. If Henderson pans out, you got Lillard, we all know is a great player. Anthony Simons, who really had a good breakout year this past year. And then if you get Henderson in there, that's a pretty solid trio.
Absolutely.
So, I think that would be a pretty good team. I'm not saying they'll be great, but I think that they could maybe, go on a nice run just on paper. So I got Henderson going number 3. What about you, Chris?
I think it's either going to be Henderson at 3, or the Trailblazers are going to make a trade with the New Orleans Pelicans, and Pelicans move up to 3.
So who would they trade, though?
Zion Williamson.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to find it here. I'm a little rusty today. Chris, you caught me off guard. I was looking at the comments.
we talked a little bit on the afternoon show about it earlier too, but I've heard some rumors about. But I know the Pelicans really want Scoot Henderson. And
right?
They were trying to get the number 2 with Charlotte. If they thought Charlotte was going to take him, so I think if Charlotte don't take him, if they couldn't work anything out with Charlotte, and he's still there at 3, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to work out something with Portland. and the rumor was they were going to try to send Zion to Charlotte. So why not take Zion over to Portland, pair him with Damian Lillard, if you really think that Henderson's the guy. But would Portland want to do that with Zion not knowing if he's going to play or not? That's the thing with Zion. When he plays, he puts up great numbers and has a good impact on that team, but he's not available enough.
Right.
And that's the thing, because I know New Orleans really does want Scoot Henderson. So I think whoever Scoot Henderson falls to, or has the potential to fall to, I think definitely they have an option to get Zion if that's what they really want.
So John goes into more detail here about his trade here with Portland trading out the number 3 slot. He says, like, possibly see the Clippers going after Paul George for the number 3 pick, or maybe even a trade deal with Miami for Bam Adebayo. I like that first option a lot better than the second option. I'll say that much. Could you imagine the Clippers getting rid of Paul George, blowing that team up? Man, okay, that's an interesting take, though.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
I can see the Clippers maybe doing that. I don't think Miami will get rid of Bam. I can see the Clippers maybe moving off Paul George. I've heard some rumors about it, and if you could get if they're that sold on Henderson, I mean, and it'll free up some salary cap too as well.
That's a good point. Jay McLovin, you're on the hot seat, my brother.
Yeah, man, and this is where my team's drafting at number 4. So based on the first 3 that went, obviously that leaves us now with either one of the Thompson brothers, and like you said, you got to pick your poison. You either want the guy that can shoot the 3 ball, or you want the guy that can slash to the rim. I think in this particular case, I think they take Amen Thompson, the point guard, or / shooting guard, depending on how you want to use them. I think he's the best player available at that particular spot. He is a playmaker. He can play defense, and he can pass the ball, which are all things that I think that Udaka would like to see with this team. Defense especially. So I think basically the defense and the passing ability of him really is intriguing for the Rockets. And so that's why I got Amen Thompson going at number 4 to the Houston Rockets.
So before I get to my comment here, Jay, John Suggs, ultimate chime in. Appreciate it, Joe. We always appreciate your comments. But he says Thompson's workout with the Rockets went insanely well. Some within the organization have mentioned him as, quote, the best athlete anyone has ever seen.
We will see.
I'm about to say we will. And Jay, I'm going to echo off of you, my friend. I think that they will go with him. Like I said, they're yin and yang in a way. They're twins, obviously. So, like I said, either you want the shooting or you want the slashing. And I kind of like your analysis of it, going with the slashing, because you have a team full of shooters, Jay.
Yeah,
you got Jabari Smith. You got Jalen Green, who chucks up shots like no others. Right. So I feel like you have to have a guy who is going to attack the rim. That way you can kick it out to those guys if you want to. But
absolutely.
But Jay, we don't know if Ime Udoka if he's going to go maybe with that all-out 3-point attack that kind of what Houston's been synonymous with in recent years. I mean, he could very well go with the other Thompson brother. We don't know. But if it was my team, and like I said, if it was your team, we're on the same wavelength here. We're going to go Thompson, get the slasher, go to the rim, get you some layups, some fouls, and he's got great passing ability. Kick it out to those guys who can shoot the threes. So that's who I've got. Number 4, Chris. You agree with us so far? We're all pretty much on the same page.
I'm going with Thompson. I'm not giving out a first name. That way I can't be wrong.
We're not falling victim to the Antetokounmpo curse or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome, Chris. And I'm not giving y'all anything like that. I'm going to stay 100% perfect.
I think it's going to be Amen Thompson is who I think will be at 4. I agree with you guys. I think that's who they're going to go with, because I actually, I'll wait till 5th.
Okay, so and then before we get to 5th, John Sully says Thompson could be the perfect pairing to Jalen Green in the backcourt with a hopeful new era. Because Jay, you do have what's his name, Kevin Porter, right? Is he still there?
Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah, like I said, another young player. So we'll see. Glenn Richardson coming in saying Houston could go with a Benedict Mathurin type of player, who obviously Chris very well.
Yeah,
good player.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad at them if they went that direction. I wouldn't be mad at them.
And Jay, now let's go to one of the cursed franchises in NBA history, the Detroit Pistons, picking at number 5. God, what do they need?
Oh,
They need something Suggs.
So we're talking about Detroit at number 5.
Correct.
So for there, I do have Jarris Walker.
Everything.
Huh?
They need everything.
Yeah, they really do. They're a young team too. Cade Cunningham and what was that other dude's name? The one they took last year? Oh, they took that Sly, or I forget that dude's last name.
Ivy.
Ivy. Thank you, Jaden Ivy. Yeah. So they do have Ivy. They do have, Cunningham, which are obviously very young guys. And then you want to throw in a young 19-year-old power forward and Jarris Walker. I like the guy. I think he's a good fit. He's versatile. He's ready. He's pro ready. Oscar Thompson, the other guy, does have a higher ceiling, but I think the readiness and the ability to shoot the three, the ability to attack, the ability to pass, come off the dribble, is where I think he's going to be at, and he'll play well next to Jalen Duren over there with Detroit. So for that reason, I do have Jarris Walker going to Detroit at number 5.
Okay. Oh God, this is the team that needed Vic the most. This is the team that needed Victor Wembanyama. Let's be real here. And also, TJ, another player, I looked at the roster. I forgot this guy was on there. James Wiseman. Completely forgot he was in Detroit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forgot that, including me, honestly.
Hey, Glenn saying Detroit could get up out of the league. Hey, that's a great concept I've floated over the years. We need to have like in soccer. Just if you're the worst team in the league, you get demoted. Get into the G League.
Yeah, you get demoted to the G League.
I think that'd be a great. I would love that concept, honestly. But that's another topic for another day.
Hey, what is it? Like, you got to play in for the playoffs, and then you got to play in to stay in the league.
Jay is saying Detroit in 2 to 3 years could be a problem. On paper, they could. But I mean, man, I think it really kind of set them back with that Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin deal from all those years ago. That was, oh man, like I said, I get what they're going for, but in all, it didn't work out. So do you think any of these ex-NBA players return like Bol? So much, he looks improved. He's always slow and looks super fast now, even though like Taco Fall, I haven't heard that name forever. Always on a 1-year deal. I'm not sure
that'd be a hard one to pull off.
Yeah, I'm not sure who. I forgot about Bol and Taco.
I mean, look, honestly, if you go to any one of these franchises and if you can show them good stuff, yeah, I mean, anybody can get back in the league, but at the same time, I mean, if they were going to do that, they would have already done it, in my opinion, by now.
And Glenn brings a good point about my Pistons comment with them Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond and company saying they got swept by the Bucks. That's true. That is true. That was the last time I think they made the playoffs, honestly. So Cunningham, Wiseman, Ivy, they all come back from injuries. That's also true. But for me, Jay, number 5, I'm going to go a little bit off the board here since we've been agreeing on everything. I can't be the same. You know how it is. Give me Ken Whitmer. Give him forward out of Villanova. 6'7", 220. Got a good frame already. He's built like an NBA player, to be real. Like I said, pairing with Cunningham and crew, I think he could fit in nicely. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, Detroit could go a lot of ways. So let's be real here. This is the infamous team that got Darko Milicic. So who knows? They could go with a guy who's projected number 46.
Hey, we will see. We will see. That's not a bad pick either. Chris, who are you looking at?
I'm going with the other Thompson twin.
There you go.
Okay.
Is it Osar? Is that how you pronounce it?
Close enough.
Hey, what was that you just said, Chris? You're not going to pronounce his first name, so you don't get ridiculed.
Hey,
I'm throwing that out the window.
Chris just tipped his hat.
I'm gonna go with him. He plays good. He can play good defense. He averages almost 3 steals a game, and he can also shoot pretty good. I think he'd fit in with that young core that Detroit already has.
So, and then Blaze Thunder Gabbard, great name, by the way. He said Detroit should go take Whitmer, going with me. He also went with the number 6 pick, even though we're only doing 1 through 5. He said Grady Dick to Orlando, which, I know that man had some rough times in school. But,
Lord.
Hey,
but I want to throw an off the wall one out there. I do think that Jeremy Green was on point. I really do. I think he was on point where I could see the Spurs trading up to get that number 9 spot and taking Koulibaly, that Jaleel Koulibaly or Jabil, whatever, how do you say it? Belil. I think it's Belil Koulibaly These guys played together over in France. So I would not be surprised if the Spurs come back at 9 and pull off a trade and grab him. So
and
keep
also,
that in mind when we get to that number 9 spot.
Hey, and also, Jay, we got to give a shout out to Jeremy Green. Great show on Tuesday. Go check it out if you haven't already. Awesome time we had. But also, like Jay mentioned, he did release his mock draft. So go over there, check out Sportsocracy, ESPN in Asheville, North Carolina, see what all he did for these mock drafts, and go see what he had to say. Let's see, we got what's going on? Notoriety Sports Network saying let's go, and absolutely hitting us with the heat. Oh my goodness, feel like we're in Miami with all this fire. All right,
Jay, we appreciate you guys. We do. We appreciate y'all.
Hey, Jay, that's our 1 through 5. Like I said, if you like it, you like it. If not, hey, that's our picks. That's why you tune in. You're here for our expertise.
Hey, I'm curious to see how right we are with that number 2 pick. If we got number 2 correct with Miller over Henderson.
I mean, to be honest though, number 1 is locked and loaded, but 2 through 5, honestly, it could go pretty much either way. You never know.
I think so.
Like I said, we got about a little less than 30 minutes till it kicks off, so we will see how it goes in just a short amount of time. Jay McLovin, we had some trades, my friend.
We did. Before we get into this topic, though, I do want to go back because this does affect the trade scenario. Obviously, as Chris's team was involved in this, the Nuggets and the Pacers did do some swapping around. Denver is now going to get the 29th and 32nd pick from the Pacers. The Pacers are getting the 2024 first-round pick and the number 40 pick in this year's draft, which we know that now the number 40 pick, Chris advised us, is now going to L.A. For future pick and cash consideration. So that 40 pick actually is going to go to L.A. So now we know that the Pacers will have the number 7, the number 26, and the number, I believe it's 55, if memory serves correctly. They'll have those 3 picks this year. They also, like I say, got the 2024 first-round pick in next year's draft for Bruce Bowen. The Nuggets, and then Bruce Bowen basically declined his $6.8 million option. So basically what Denver's saying, okay, we're going to probably most likely lose Bowen, so they're going to grab those 2 picks and use them on future players, whatever, to compensate. They also have Braun and Watson stepping up, I think, to fill the void of losing Bowen. So I think it's going to be interesting at the end of the day how that all plays out.
Real quick, Notoriety Sports Network. I agree, but I think the Pacers are going to go with Hendricks.
Brown. I'm sorry. I think I said Bowen. Thank you for the correction, Jay Ness. It's Bruce Brown. I apologize. My bad.
Hey, Jay went back in time with that one.
Hey, you cannot pull anything over Jay Ness. Jay Ness will call you out like a heart attack.
Hey, Jay, we're getting to that in just a minute, my friend. Just got to be patient with us. Billy, 8 o'clock sharp. Be there. Be square. Blaze said they need everything. Talking, I think, about Orlando or maybe Detroit. I don't know which one. Maybe both. We'll go with both. How about that?
Absolutely. Billy Buzz, again, that's on ESPN at 8 o'clock.
Eastern time. I don't know where you're at, but you know what it is.
It's 8 Eastern.
Minutes. That's easier. How about that?
But, hey, how do you guys feel about that Nuggets and Pacers trade? Obviously, this is the Pacers. So Gonzo, I know this is your team. Do you like what's going on here? Do you not like what's going on here? What's your thoughts on what the Pacers are doing?
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it because the pick they traded this year was in like in the 20s, so it wasn't like they gave up a high draft pick and they kind of moved back. I think they're going to try to build around the core they have. So hopefully they can get the guy with the 7, and then who knows, they might try to make a move in the free agency or something. But no, I didn't think it was a big deal or like that they really messed up by giving up them picks and moving back. Now, giving up, I mean, you're getting the Nuggets first round pick next year, so it's probably not going to be a high pick, but we'll see what happens with that. But we'll get our normal first round pick next year. So, I think we already have a couple picks in the first round next year. So they're starting to load up on some picks where they might be able to use them for compensation to maybe go out and try to get somebody or something. So, no, I thought the move was a pretty good move.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Billy says, hey, I'm out here in Georgia. Dylan Beeks says, let's go. And Dylan Beeks also says, my Pacers, which I didn't know Dylan Beeks was a Pacers fan, but okay. He says his Pacers need Whitmore or Hendricks in the draft. He says that they drafted Grady Dick. He's not watching basketball anymore. So we'll see what happens.
Dylan, I think they're going to go with Hendricks. Yeah, Dylan lives real close to where I live at. He's only about 25, 30 minutes away from me, so it don't surprise me he's a Pacers fan.
Billy, I'm curious. What part of Georgia you in? I'm curious. I don't think he's ever said it, has he, Jay?
No.
Where you at? Where you at, Billy? Where you at in Georgia?
He said Monroe for the night through Sunday.
Okay.
But it's from
okay. Okay, he's passing through. I got you, Billy.
Billy said, I'm not from the pulled pork capital of the world.
So, Georgia is. Are you guys Eastern time?
Yeah, we're Eastern Standard. Yeah,
yeah, it's all Eastern.
So it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock, Billy. So
he says, Frankie says, at least you have a draft pick tonight. John goes on to say, I thought it was a bad deal for Celtics because, in my opinion, Smart was the hard. Again, I agree with you totally, John. I totally agree with that.
Let's get into it, Jay. Let's get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So again, I like Kristaps Porzingis last year. I didn't like him pretty much every year other than that. Last year he had a good season. He had 23 points, averaged about 8 rebounds, I think it was about 2.7 assists, almost 3 assists. So he had a good season last year. He's about 28 years old. If you look at anything other than last year, then I tell you he's been a bust all the way up until last year. So if the Celtics can get the Porzingis that played last season with Washington, then I think they'll be okay. But again, like Gonzo has pointed out several times, Brogdon and the other guy, they don't really have a point guard that can stay healthy and do what they need to be done. So I think they're going to be very, very weak at the point guard position. So that could be their vulnerability because of the Kristaps Porzingis trade, unless they can get a free agent like Van Fleet or whoever to come over. We know CP3 is off the board because he just went over to the Warriors, which we'll get to that in a minute as well. But if they don't get a guy like Van Fleet or just a point guard in general, that could be the Achilles heel that could come back to hurt them. Overall, I don't like the trade. I think they should have kept Smart. I think they had a great team. They just needed more coaching experience to get them where they needed to be. But it is what it is. I don't like it personally. Logan?
So for me, Jay, this was I was not expecting this trade. But to me, this is the Celtics throwing all their chips on the table right now. Because what they're doing, they're getting a guy who in his career has averaged over 20 points a game. Right? We know he's an efficient shooter. He's solid from three, solid from just in general scoring. Defense, kind of iffy. But what they traded defense for even more firepower on offense. Now, let's also not forget this, Jay. Kristaps Porzingis is in the final year of his mega contract.
Right.
He's getting paid around. He's how much is he getting paid this year?
$36 million, I believe.
Yes, you are correct. $36 million. That's going to be for his final season, and then in next year he'll be a unrestricted free agent. He'll go wherever he wants to go. Now, Marcus Smart. Like I said, he's been the heart and soul of that team for quite some time now. I mean, he was the longest tenured player there, I believe. He's under contract, though, for a couple of seasons. Let's not forget that he just signed a deal pretty recently with Boston. So he's under contract now with Memphis for the next 3-4 years. They'd be an unrestricted free agent in 26. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm not super, super loving this trade, honestly. I think Memphis, they came out of it with looking good. But Jay, the thing that we've said since Boston got eliminated from the playoffs, they need a point guard still. They do. So Frankie's saying they need a tall guy like Porzingis. Well, I can understand that in a way because, Robert Williams has been really iffy in terms of if he's going to be on the court or not. But who's going to be handling the ball for them? Who's going to be their dominant ball handler? We know Jason Tatum. We know Jaylen Brown. Those guys are great shooters. There's no questioning that. But when your best point guard was Peyton Pritchard And Marcus Smart is a defender. He's not much of a traditional point guard who's going to get you a lot of assists. That's what you need. You need guys who are not going to be afraid to give up points to kick the ball out. And I'm not saying that Smart did not do that. He did a pretty good job at that. But this is where you could have upgraded it in a trade. But that's why I think they maybe should have got, if they could have maybe got like a Tyus Jones, that would have been helped out. I mean, there's a few other guys they could have got. But Boston, like I said, they're going at it, Jay. I mean, I think we're going to see maybe a lot of ISO ball this year, which it could work out. It could not. Who knows? But we'll see what happens.
Wow. Yeah, we will see what happens. Again, if you think that Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon are going to get it done, I'm very leery of that. But, Chris, what's your thoughts, brother?
Oh, I didn't like the trade for Boston. I think Memphis made out good with Smart, especially with the John Morant suspension and stuff. So I think that's a good move for them. But for the Celtics, to me, their biggest problem this season was not having a facilitator on the offense. The offense would go too much one-on-one. They would go in the fourth quarter. The ball would go too long without seeing Jason Tatum.
Yep.
So I think they needed more of a true point guard or a facilitator. So that's why throwing everything in, get a big man like Porzingis didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because you had Williams. I know he has injuries and he's not a big scorer, but and then you also had Horford, who's old. But you can find some big guys that can come in, play defense, rebound. But to give up Smart, which is your closest thing that you had to a point guard, other than Brogdon, who I do like Brogdon, but Brogdon's problem is staying healthy. He was with the Pacers for 4 or 5 years, and then it was his back. Now it's an elbow. And Brogdon had a good year last year, 6th man of the year. So I think that if they could shore up that point guard position was where they needed to shore up more than anything. So I do like Smart to Memphis. I think that was a good move. A good move for Memphis.
So before we go on, Jay, I got to pull this up here. Blaze, where is it at here? Boston won the trade. Smart was not pushing Boston over the top. And also, who said they're good draft? You also said they're good drafters. Jay, I found their draft history in the past couple of years. Let me throw some names at you, okay?
Right.
Recent years, we got Jawan Bajarin, Aaron Neesmith, Peyton Pritchard, Desmond Bain, Yam Mater, Romeo Langford, Matisse Thybulle, Grant Williams in 2019, Robert Williams in 2018, and then Tatum in 2017. Jay, that sounds to me that it's about 5 years of some guys who are not top-tier talent.
Right. I think they had, out of all those names, I think probably 2 of them, really have done something. Yeah. So I don't know, Blaze. I don't want to be argumentative, but I beg to differ on some of that good drafting.
Yeah,
and let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like Chris has said several times, this is a shallow draft. I mean, when you get out of like the number 4 spot, even the number 5 or 6 spot, you're really super thin. So I don't know.
Quick answer to this one: are we going to see John Morant get moved? No, he's staying in Memphis.
Yeah, he's definitely. Memphis ain't moving.
He would have been traded by now.
Right, I mean, unless somebody can offer them a really good package, I don't see them moving on. All
right, Jay, let's talk about the other trade we got here, my friend. Good Lord. This one broke today. We had to add this
CP3 to the Warriors. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or don't like it. They are getting an older CP3, so he did average about 13 points last season. I don't know, man. He's got $30 million left on his contract. I will say this: they moved off of Jordan Poole's contract, that 4-year, $140 million. So I think what they did was they got some veteran leadership. Probably, and again, Jordan Poole averaged about 10 points last season. So, it's not like he was just lighting up the world last season. So I think the Warriors got more cap friendly. I think they got veteran leadership out of Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul can facilitate the ball where it needs to go. When you got a guy like Klay Thompson and you got Steph Curry, possibly Draymond Green if they can get him back under contract. So CP3 is not a bad thing, but he's not going to last. He's 38 damn years old. I don't know what you think you're getting. I think maybe get 1 or 2 years possibly out of it. I think the biggest thing was they were able to move some of that capital away off their books and maybe make some room to bring in other free agents possibly. So we'll see how that goes. But at the end of the day, man, I think I think that Washington got Poole. They got a little bit younger. I don't think they necessarily wanted to bring a 38-year-old guy in, especially with Kyle Kuzma now leaving in free agency. Porzingis just got traded. Yeah, Bradley Beal just got traded. So I think, honestly, kind of for both sides it worked out. I just don't know how Washington's going to like that $140 million guy on their books.
I'm with you. Frankie, I am so tired of seeing that. Chris, I know you are too.
Yeah,
this trade has been rumored for 2 seasons.
Did he copy and paste that?
I feel like Frankie went back in our archives and saw that from like August of 21 and said, "Hey, let me see if this will hit again." My God!
Oh Lord!
He said, so he's talking with your father in the comments saying, "Tired of saying it won't happen, but anything can happen." And he's not wrong. Anything can happen. John Suggs, I think Draymond Green is done with the Warriors teams. You see maybe going to Dallas, the Rockets, or the Heat. I think now with Jordan Poole gone, he goes back. Easy. Takes a team-friendly deal.
That's what I was about to say. I think.
Can we not forget this is the same guy who knocked him out in practice before the season?
Right. And I think, and Mike Dunleavy's already come out and said that he wants Draymond back. And I think the fact that they traded Poole pretty much solidifies that they're going to bring him back. I think if they would have kept Poole, then I think Green's gone. I think Golden State has already made that decision.
Jay, you say that with Mike Dunleavy, who also said just the other day about Jordan Poole saying, "Well, we still got him on the contract for 3 or 4 more years, so I don't think we're going to be doing anything with him." And then now
look what happens
to the land of just mid in Washington now, where he is the lone player I know on that team. But my gosh, so. Let's see. John Suggs saying with C3 contract and Green turned down 27. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense now. Why? If you think about it, Draymond opted out. He probably heard like, "Hey, we're gonna get Chris Paul, so we need you to come back on a team-friendly deal," which I'm sure Draymond was willing to do.
Right.
Which I mean, the math adds up. At least for me. But talking about this trade here, obviously Chris Paul. This is probably I think his 10th time in recent years of him trying to get a ring. Is this going to be the year? I don't know, but. Jordan Poole, my God, what a fall from grace this man has had. Remember, after this team won the finals, and it wasn't even like it was long, like years and years. It was last year.
Right.
He was heralded as the next Splash Brother, as the guy who got that giant contract that we were all like, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
And Jay, Chris, 1 season later, he is now done with that team. They traded him. They said, "Oh, man, we made a mistake." Now he is going to the Wizards. He'll lead them in scoring in every other category you want. But, my God, that poor man. I feel bad for him. He went from a great team to a team who's been stuck in a rebuild since they got rid of John Wall. So,
oh, Lord. And that is no lie about that.
But I don't feel bad.
Tell me what I'm telling lies.
No, I don't feel bad for him just because he played terrible this season. So he had the one great year, and he didn't come back and prove that wasn't a fluke year. He came out and kind of made it show maybe that was a fluke year.
And also Frankie coming in saying if they kept Poole, then Green would be gone because they wouldn't have the money for both. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's how it goes. But I'm interested to see how Chris Paul's role is going to be on this team because my God, could you imagine just having? Because I mean, Steph has always been the primary ball handler. Because I mean, even on the bench, I don't really know besides what Sean Livingston a couple of years ago, who their top point guard was, at least backup. But I mean, Chris Paul more than likely going to be coming off the bench, more than likely, just dishing the ball out to either Clay or to Curry, who's going to act as a shooting guard at that time. I mean, that could be a pretty deadly combo if it all works out. But
absolutely,
time will tell. But like I said, I get he's older. I understand all of that. But let's not act like Chris Paul's a scrub. He's still a solid player to this day.
Well, what a time to be alive, man. Chris, are you in agreement with everything that was said?
Yeah, I think Chris Paul going there is going to I think it'll help the Warriors in the fact because he's another facilitator. Right now, Draymond Green was their main facilitator. They really didn't have other than Steph Curry, but I mean, you're depending on Steph for points so much, so it's hard to depend on him for all the assists as well that your team has as well.
Exactly.
So I think having Chris Paul might help them get into some offense quicker, especially when Curry's on the bench, and even if Draymond's on the bench, it gives them another facilitator option and a guy that he can still score 13, 15, 16 points a game.
He can get you points on decent shooting.
And he's everybody talks about his leadership as well. Don't get me wrong; they got a lot of leadership on that team with Steph Curry as well. So, it never hurts to bring in somebody that has that kind of basketball knowledge as well.
And you cut out someone who, like you said, there's sides you want to pick with the fight. Still, we talked all about it.
One of them had to go.
One of them had to go, and I think we all knew which one was going to be leaving.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, with the amount of basketball IQ that the Golden State Warriors have,
is that team just the numbers that team has put up with just Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, even throw Steve Kerr in there. Why not? I mean, just like I said, the IQ is just off the charts, and they already were probably top of the league. Jay, they were.
Absolutely.
I mean, also Draymond. Let's see. Do the Lakers get rid of D'Angelo Russell and go after Trae Young? Bro, if I look as a Hawks fan, if I get rid of Trae Young for D'Angelo Russell, I'm boycotting the season. There is no
I can just see that. I can just see that right now happening, man. Logan would be so angry.
If I get that alert tonight, Jay, I am not. If there's a basketball topic, I won't be covering it. I am not. I won't care.
You know what? And I'm not even mad at you because I wouldn't do it either.
That would be a horrible trade. First off, they don't need another guard. You have Trae Young, you have DeJounte Murray. Those those two played well last year. But it wouldn't surprise me if John Collins is moved. I'm just saying that. But God help me if we get D'Angelo Russell.
God.
We don't need another guard. We do not need another guard. Jay, let's get on a better topic here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's amazing. You're right, John.
You're
right. Going to go ahead and turn into a Bills fan and jump off the top rope into a table.
Hey, Chris, get some kerosene. Light on fire, might as well.
Hey, listen, moving on what we're talking about here. Look, guys, I think we're slowly seeing women moving into head coaching spots in the NBA. I think this is the next step to facilitating that. One of the hirings, the coach specifically, I am proud of. The other one, I'm not so much, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. Let's look at Lindsey Harding as a coach. And then you got Rand Dive. I hope I said her name right.
The GM.
Yeah, Rand is now the GM. In terms of Sacramento, and of course, they're the coach and GM of the Sacramento G League team. So again, that's like the next step to make it into the NBA, unless your name is Becky Hammond, who has the clout to get over there. But Harding, she was the assistant and player development coach with the Kings, so she has NBA experience on the developmental side and at the assistant side. So I think that is an excellent choice to do. She was a number one pick in 2007 out of Duke. So she's got experience. She's played the game, so that's somebody that I would comfortably say, let's give her a head coaching spot over in G League. If she does well in the G League and there's a spot opened up eventually, then we could, move her up. So that for her and her career progression, that's an amazing accomplishment, not only for herself, but for women in basketball in general. It's an amazing step. Now, the one I'm not so happy about. Look, I get it, man. Look, I hate nepotism, and I'm sorry. To me, this looks like nepotism. If your daughter is now the GM, I mean, okay, it is what it is. I mean, this girl was, or lady, excuse me, this lady was a music singer, a writer of music. She had, I guess, a little bit of management, but I don't see her talents or her experience suiting a general manager position. I don't see it. If you take away Vivek Radovan or Random, I can't ever say that name right. If you take her dad out of the equation, does she still get that opportunity? I don't know. To me, it would have been better if she was promoted to the GM spot by an independent source away from her father. Then I could say there's more credibility there. but I just don't see her background or her experience warranting a general manager spot in the G League. I just don't see it. I think she got it because of her father. I really do. And I hope, that may make people mad, but at the end of the day, that's just how I see it. Based on her track record and her experience, I just don't see this being the right fit at a GM level spot in the G League. Logan?
So Joe, I'm going to piggyback off that and ask you another question here. Do you think that move to make her general manager was to make this history here, to make the first duo tandem?
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, what do they say? Any publicity is good publicity. So, yeah, I mean, is it a PR move? Very well, it could be a PR move. I think they had the PR move in the bag with Harding as the coach. And that was a great decision because she's more than qualified to take over that spot. And I would have left it at that. I would have said I get the first female head coach in an NBA organization, and I would have been good with that and then put a qualified general manager into that position, and I'm good with that. And if he wants his daughter to get into basketball, put her in some positions of gaining that NBA experience, and then move her up the ladder. That's the only part I have a problem with.
So John brings up another point here, saying at 30 years old at GM, it's also a red flag.
Yeah, it's to me, it's just too much. Too much.
And like you said, she joined the team last season, like you mentioned, Jay, as the assistant general manager. And obviously, as we know, the previous general manager left. So, like you said, what was it? Probably her father making a decision to move her up. More than likely, it seems that way. It certainly paints that picture of someone who has not had a whole lot of experience going into one of the highest positions you can have at a basketball team. But like you said, nonetheless, though, like I said, make some history with this, and I'm excited to see though with Harding as the head coach. I think she, like you said, she is overqualified. Obviously she was great in the WNBA for all those years. A great college player too. But I'm excited to see how she will do. Then as for Randa as the general manager, kind of iffy because Jay, that involves trades. That involves a bunch of other stuff.
It involves a lot of things. I do want to say, and I think I speak for Unscripted on this, that even though we feel a certain way about her moving up that ladder rung to where she's at, we still wish her nothing but success. We are still supporting her. I have a question about it, but if she can make it work, if she can do the right things fully, we do support her because that's what we do at this show. We want to support those types of things. So again, I don't want to get us not necessarily supporting the idea of it, but we support her regardless in terms of her being successful.
Yeah, and that's well said, Jay. And Chris, one more thing here before I kick it down to you. And like you said, we want this to work out. We really do. But that's the thing is that, Jay, if no one's going to ask the questions, then why not us? I mean, someone's got to bring it up. Well, that's what we're here to do. And like I said, we wish this team the best of luck in the upcoming season. See how they can do. And like I said, hopefully, Randa make some great business moves, get some trades, draft picks that reflect well on Coach Harding. So we'll see how they do this upcoming season, Jay. But nonetheless, history has been made. First ever tandem head coach GM in G League history. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on this, my friend?
I don't have a big problem with the coaching hire. I thought that was a real good hire, but I don't even have a big problem with the GM hire. And the only reason is because it's not the Sacramento Kings. It's not the
okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. The G League is a developmental league.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring in somebody you're going to hire as a GM, you brought her in last year as assistant GM, get experience, and then you want to give them some experience in the developmental league to see if they can do it. I don't have a big problem with it. Plus, with music background, you got to be able to manage appointments, manage different deals and stuff.
That's good. Good point.
She might not have been doing exactly basketball stuff, but there could be stuff in her background that could help her with business decisions and other things as a GM. Now, if it was just straight to like the GM of an NBA team, I'd be like, hey, now this is complete BS. But with it being a developmental team, I don't have as big of I don't have a real big problem with it just because of that.
I think that's also a really good valid point. This is developmental, in all positions, not just on the court, but in the business world also. But like we said, we'll see how they do. We wish them all the best of luck this upcoming season, and hopefully this team can get some good wins and get some good trades and good draft picks, and we can cover them here on the show for a little bit more.
I believe we're at final thoughts, unless we got one more. Yeah, we are.
I'm about to say we are.
Final thoughts, man. Hey, let's work bottom up. Gonzo, man, what's your final thoughts, brother?
Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Please like, follow, subscribe. Unscripted Sports, Gonzo Sports Room, ASAP Sports Network. We'd all greatly appreciate it. And also, don't forget this weekend I got two pro wrestling shows on Saturday. Be live from a fair close to Indianapolis, Indiana. We got a show at 3:30 and a show at 7:30. And then on Sunday we'll have another live pro wrestling show at 3:00 with a different federation. So we got a lot of live pro wrestling this weekend. Come join us on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at ASAP All Sports Network. Actually, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at both networks. Other than that, hope the Reds can keep some momentum going this weekend. We're 11-0 for the first time in 66, or 11 in a row for the first time in 66 years. So if we can win 12 in a row, that'd be the first time since 1940 that we've won 12 in a row. Yeah, Logan, I couldn't believe that the Big Red Machine, as great as them teams was, they never had an 11-game winning streak.
Yeah, that's you would have thought, right? But I guess not. Wow. John Suggs, his thoughts here. College baseball, we'll talk about that on either Saturday or Tuesday, just depends. Wake Forest, LSU, they're in a 0-0 shutout right now, I believe the 5th inning. The winner will go on to face the Florida Gators for the championship this coming weekend, potentially going into Monday if there's a Game 3 needed. So we'll be covering that either on Saturday or
College World Series has been real good.
It has. Like I said, cover that either Saturday or on Tuesday for sure when it's over. My final thoughts, though, just checking around on ESPN before we get to the draft. Good news, guys. Deion Sanders won't need foot amputation, but he does have a clot surgery scheduled for tomorrow. So that's great news. I know we were all kind of a little worried that he might have to get that foot amputated, but it is not going to happen. Glad to see that. Also, since we've talked a lot about Washington sports, why not add some more, fellas? Qatar. They are buying a stake in the Washington Wizards, the Washington Capitals, and the Washington Mystics in the WNBA. They're buying roughly 5% stake in the parent company of all those teams as part of a. You guys have you're in your chairs comfortably. $4.05 billion deal.
Damn.
So, wow, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and wow. So, why not put more Washington topics into this one to get out of here?
Wow, that's a hell of a topic, Logan. I'll tell you, hey, that part of the world, the Middle East, man, hey, with the Saudis going into golf, Qatar pretty much trying to take over some things in basketball or get involved in basketball. Hey, listen, y'all better watch out, man. I don't know where this is going to head in the future, but it's looking really crazy. Woo-wee.
Hey, we will see where it goes from here, Jay. And also, as we know, it's 8:05, which that means the San Antonio Spurs are on the clock.
And on that note, we are going to get up on out of here. I do want to say thank you very much to Jay Ness for supporting us, John Suggs for supporting us, Seth Roth. Thank you, Seth, or Steve Roth. I'm sorry, Steve for commenting. Mike Hughes, obviously supporting us. John Suggs, Glenn Richardson, Notoriety Sports. Blaze Thunder came out and put some stuff out there. Appreciate you, Blaze. And then, of course, who else do we have? Billy Buzz, man. Appreciate
our boy.
Frankie, Dylan Beeks. Frankie's our boy. Dylan Beeks, man, for showing some love, man. Yes, and it looks like I think I got everybody. Tony Gonzalez, man. Appreciate you.
I wonder who that guy is.
I don't know, man. He's this little 4'11" guy who apparently has a really good seat company that's being endorsed. Good times in the world, man. Good times in the world. Again, man, we want to thank all of y'all that commented and shared and liked our stuff. Go to our YouTube if you can and subscribe on our YouTube page. Always appreciate it. Again, catch us on Facebook at Unscripted, Twitter at Unscripted Guys, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, all at Unscripted Sports. Man, I don't know what else to say other than, man, hey, I hope you guys draft well.
Yes, sir.
And we'll catch you guys very, very soon. Oh, and by the way, we got only one spot left in fantasy football. So if you want to get in fantasy football, put it in the comments or put it in the DMs on Messenger to either myself, Jason McMahon, or Logan Landers, Chris Gonzalez, Frankie Cruz Jr., and one of them will get your name to us, and we'll get you slotted on that 12th and final spot for the Unscripted Fantasy Football League. Logan, get us out.
All right, guys. We will see you on our next show.